The first strike. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the command center of Earth's Orbital Defense Station Alpha, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The massive screen showed what appeared to be empty space at first glance, but she knew better. The quantum sensors had detected something, a disturbance at the edge of the solar system that shouldn't be there. "Report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the growing tension in her chest. Lieutenant Rodriguez's fingers flew across his console. "Multiple signatures detected, Captain. They're using some kind of advanced cloaking technology, but they can't hide from our quantum detection grid. I'm counting. At least 300 vessels. Massive ones." Sarah's jaw tightened. Humanity had known this day might come. They'd spent decades preparing, building defenses in secret, developing technologies that went far beyond what they showed to the rest of the galaxy. The Zaxians thought they were launching a surprise attack, but Earth had been watching them for years. "Alert status Alpha," she announced, her voice echoing through the station's communication system. "This is not a drill. Activate the Prometheus protocol." Around the Earth, hidden installations hummed to life. Quantum-linked defense platforms emerged from their camouflaged positions in the asteroid belt. Automated drone carriers activated their production sequences. And deep beneath the surface of the moon, the most classified of humanity's defensive measures began powering up. The Zaxian fleet materialized closer to Mars, their massive ships resembling crystalline structures that caught and reflected the distant sunlight. Their design was both beautiful and terrifying. Organic curves mixed with geometric precision, creating vessels that looked like they'd been grown rather than built. "They're broadcasting," Rodriguez reported. "System-wide transmission." "Put it through," Sarah ordered, straightening her uniform. A holographic figure appeared in the center of the command center, tall, ethereal, with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes. Fleet Commander Vexthor of the Zaxian Dominions spoke with the arrogant confidence of someone who believed victory was already assured. "People of Earth," the alien's translated voice reverberated through the room. "Your planet has been chosen for integration into the Dominion. Your resources and population will serve a greater purpose under our guidance. Resist, and we will be forced to take more dramatic measures. You have one planetary rotation to submit your surrender." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Zaxians had done exactly what Earth's intelligence suggested they would: underestimate humanity completely. They saw a fractious species that had only achieved spaceflight recently, one that still fought among themselves and struggled with unified planetary governance. They hadn't noticed the quantum satellites monitoring their empire's expansion. They hadn't detected the stealth probes that had mapped their technology. And most importantly, they hadn't realized that humanity's apparent technological level was a carefully crafted illusion. "Send our response," Sarah commanded. "Text only." The message was brief. "The people of Earth decline your generous offer. We suggest you reconsider your position." "Response sent," Rodriguez confirmed. "They're laughing, Captain. The Zaxian command ship is broadcasting amusement signals." "Let them laugh," Sarah replied, activating her neural link to the station's combat systems. Around the Earth, thousands of other military personnel were doing the same, connecting to the vast defense network humanity had spent decades building. "Initiate defense pattern Omega. Let's show our friends what humanity is really capable of." The first wave of Zaxian ships moved past Mars, their weapons charging. They expected to face primitive planetary shields and a handful of outdated defense satellites. Instead, quantum tunneling missiles appeared inside their ship's shield perimeters, their warheads containing artificial singularities that began tearing the massive vessels apart. Swarms of autonomous drones emerged from hidden bases on Phobos and Deimos, their advanced AI systems coordinating perfect attack patterns. The Zaxians' supposedly impenetrable shields proved vulnerable to weapons specifically designed to exploit weaknesses that Earth's stealth probes had identified years ago. "Multiple Zaxian vessels destroyed," Rodriguez reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. They're falling back, Captain. The first wave is in full retreat." Sarah nodded, but kept her expression neutral. This was just the beginning. The Zaxians would be back, and next time they wouldn't underestimate humanity. But that was fine. Humanity had plenty more surprises waiting. "Send word to all Earth Defense Forces," she ordered. "Phase 1 successful. Begin preparation for Phase 2. The real battle is about to begin." As she watched the Zaxian ships retreat, Sarah thought about how long humanity had prepared for this moment. While the aliens saw a primitive species, they'd missed humanity's greatest strength, the ability to learn, adapt, and overcome. The Zaxians had just learned it the hard way, but this was only the first lesson of many to come. The stars seemed to shimmer with anticipation as humanity prepared to show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of. The first strike had been successfully repelled, but the war for Earth's future was just beginning. Hidden strengths. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to most of humanity, Dr. Maya Patel stood before the assembled military leaders of Earth's combined defense forces. The holographic displays around her showed real-time footage of the retreating Zaxian fleet, their crystalline ships still reeling from humanity's unexpected counterattack. "As you can see," Maya explained, her hands moving through the holographic interface with practiced ease, "the Zaxians are regrouping near Saturn's orbit. Our quantum sensors indicate they're conducting emergency repairs and likely preparing for a second assault." General Zhang, commander of the Asian Defense Coalition, leaned forward. "How long do we have?" "Approximately 48 hours, Maya replied, pulling up detailed scans of the alien vessels. "But that's actually good news. We need time to bring our primary defense systems fully online." The assembled leaders murmured among themselves. Most of them had only learned about the true extent of Earth's technological capabilities within the last few hours. The facade of a relatively primitive civilization had been maintained so perfectly that even many top military officials hadn't known the truth. Maya gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show a massive structure hidden within the moon. "This is the Aegis Array. It's a quantum-entangled defense system that can create localized disruptions in space-time itself. We've kept it powered down to avoid detection, but once it's fully operational, it will create an impenetrable barrier around Earth." Admiral Hassan of the African Space Command whistled low. "How long have we had this capability?" "The project began 30 years ago, after our first detection of the Zaxian Empire," Maya explained. "We knew they were expanding, conquering world after world. Instead of announcing our discovery and trying to negotiate, Earth's leaders made an unprecedented decision: to hide our true technological progress and prepare in secret." The holographic display shifted again, showing orbital shipyards hidden in the dark side of the moon. Within them, vessels unlike anything the Zaxians had ever seen were waiting. They weren't the crystalline organic tech of the Zaxians, but neither were they the primitive rockets the aliens expected. These ships represented a completely different path of technological evolution. "The Prometheus fleet," Maya continued, "powered by controlled artificial singularities, armed with weapons that can target specific quantum states. They're crewed by human pilots neurally linked to quantum AI systems, providing reaction times and tactical capabilities far beyond what the Zaxians can achieve." General Zhang raised an eyebrow. "Why keep all this secret? We could have shown our strength, perhaps deterred an attack." Maya shook her head. "The Zaxians don't negotiate with species they consider potential threats. If they had known our true capabilities, they would have struck earlier, harder, with their full force. Instead, they came with a relatively small fleet, expecting an easy conquest." At that moment, Captain Chen's hologram appeared in the command center. "Dr. Patel, we're detecting energy surges from the Zaxian fleet. They're deploying something new." Maya's fingers flew across her interface, analyzing the data. Her eyes widened. "They're adapting faster than we anticipated. Those energy signatures, they're attempting to replicate our quantum tunneling technology." Can they do it? Admiral Hassan asked, tension evident in his voice. No, Maya replied with a confident smile. They're working from observed data, trying to reverse engineer something they don't fully understand. But it shows they're taking us seriously now. The next attack will be different. The holographic displays suddenly flared with new data. Captain Chen's voice was urgent. Multiple Zaxian vessels breaking away from the main fleet. They're heading toward the Kuiper Belt at high speed. Maya's smile faded. They're looking for our long-range sensors. They've realized we must have been watching them for years. She turned to the assembled leaders. We need to accelerate our timetable. General Zhang, begin deploying the Prometheus fleet. Admiral Hassan, your quantum strike teams need to be ready within 12 hours. The command center erupted into activity as orders were relayed and plans set in motion. Maya turned back to the holographic display, watching the Zaxian ships move through the solar system. The aliens were adapting, learning, but so was humanity. The next phase of the battle would test both species to their limits. Doctor, Captain Chen's hologram spoke softly. Should we activate the Lazarus protocol? Maya stared at the display for a long moment before answering. Not yet. That's our last resort. For now, let's show the Zaxians that humanity's first surprise wasn't our only one. As the leaders dispersed to their commands, Maya remained in the control center, her mind already working on the next phase of Earth's defense. The Zaxians had awakened humanity's full potential, and they were about to learn why that was a terrible mistake. The intelligence game. In a secured bunker beneath Tokyo, Kai Tanaka's fingers danced across neural interface controls as streams of alien code flowed through his consciousness. He wasn't alone. Around the world, thousands of humanity's best cyber operators were engaged in an invisible war against the Zaxian fleet's computer systems. Their encryption is adapting, Kai reported through his neural link, but it's following patterns we predicted. They still think linearly, even their AIs. Dr. Maya Patel's voice responded in his mind. Can you break through? Kai allowed himself a small smile as his consciousness merged deeper with the quantum computer network. Already have. You're not going to believe what I'm seeing. The Zaxians' crystalline ships weren't just vessels. They were living computers, organic technology so advanced it bordered on magical. But they had a fundamental weakness. They'd never faced an adversary capable of understanding their systems, let alone hacking them. Humanity had spent decades studying their technology, preparing for this moment. Their entire command and control structure is hierarchical, Kai explained, his consciousness expanding through the alien networks. Each ship is connected to a central nexus. They're so confident in their encryption that they never considered someone could breach it. In orbital defense stations around Earth, Captain Chen and her colleagues watched as Kai's team began their real work. Ship after ship in the Zaxian fleet started experiencing mysterious malfunctions. Navigation systems failed. Weapons powered down at critical moments. Communication channels filled with random data. But the Zaxians weren't helpless. Their organic computers began generating new encryption algorithms, adapting to the human intrusion. It became a race between human intuition and alien logic, each side evolving their tactics in real time. They're learning, Kai reported, sweat beading on his forehead despite the climate-controlled environment. Their systems are reconfiguring faster than we anticipated, but they still don't understand what they're fighting. Dr. Patel's voice was tense. What do you mean? They think they're fighting human AIs, Kai explained, his consciousness dancing through quantum pathways. They can't conceive that human minds could interface directly with their systems. It's their biggest blind spot. They see technology as something separate from consciousness. They don't understand how we've merged the two. In lunar orbit, the Prometheus fleet began its deployment. The ships moved with impossible grace, their quantum drives allowing them to slip through space in ways the Zaxians couldn't predict. Each vessel was an extension of its human crew, neural interfaces allowing pilots to feel their ships as if they were their own bodies. The Zaxian fleet launched its second attack, but this time they found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to anticipate their every move. Their tactical algorithms, evolved over centuries of conquest, proved useless against human unpredictability and intuition. "We've got something," Kai suddenly announced. "Their flagship's core systems. There's a pattern here I haven't seen before." His consciousness expanded further, probing the alien data. It's not just tactical data. These are their cultural archives, their historical records. Dr. Patel's interest was immediately piqued. "Can you access them?" "Better than that," Kai replied. "I can understand them, their language, their thought patterns. It's all here." And Maya, they're scared. The revelation shocked everyone listening. The Zaxians, who had conquered hundreds of worlds, who saw themselves as the supreme species in the galaxy, were experiencing fear, not just of defeat, but of something more fundamental. "They've never encountered a species like us," Kai continued, his voice filled with wonder as he processed the alien data. "Every civilization they've conquered followed predictable patterns of technological development. But we're different. We've taken paths they never imagined possible. We're chaos to their order, intuition to their logic." Captain Chen's voice cut through the neural network. "The Zaxian fleet is pulling back again. They're forming a new battle pattern we haven't seen before." "No," Kai corrected, still deep in the alien systems. "They're not pulling back. They're preparing to deploy something they've never used before." His consciousness raced through the alien data. "They're calling it the Harmony Protocol. It's not just a weapon. They're trying to rewrite the rules of the game." Dr. Patel's voice was sharp. "Explain." "The Zaxians believe in perfect order," Kai said, his mind processing vast amounts of alien information. "The Harmony Protocol is their ultimate expression of that belief. They're going to try to impose their version of order on our entire solar system. If they succeed, it won't just defeat us. It will fundamentally change who and what we are." The neural network hummed with tension as military commanders and scientists absorbed this information. Humanity had prepared for many possibilities, but this was something new. The war was no longer just about survival. It was about preserving humanity's unique nature, their capacity for chaos and creativity that had taken them down technological paths the Zaxians had never dreamed possible. "How long do we have?" Dr. Patil asked. Kai's consciousness monitored the alien fleet's preparations. 6 hours, maybe less. But now we understand them better than they understand themselves. And that's an advantage they never expected us to have. As the Zaxian fleet prepared their ultimate weapon, humanity's defenders began formulating their response. The next phase of the battle would decide not just the fate of Earth, but the very nature of consciousness and technology in the galaxy. Unity and innovation. The quantum-linked command center beneath Geneva buzzed with activity as leaders from every nation on Earth gathered, both in person and via hologram. The news of the Harmony Protocol had galvanized humanity's response in unprecedented ways. Former adversaries now worked side by side, pooling resources and knowledge to face the existential threat. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the assembled leaders, her holographic displays showing the massive energy buildup in the Zaxian fleet. "The Harmony Protocol isn't just a weapon," she explained. "It's an attempt to fundamentally alter the quantum state of our entire solar system. The Zaxians believe they can impose their version of order on reality itself. Can they do it?" General Zhang asked, his hologram flickering with concern. "They can try," Captain Chen responded from her orbital station. "But they don't understand what they're really fighting against. Humanity doesn't just use quantum technology. We've learned to work with the fundamental chaos of the universe." Kai Tanaka's consciousness surfaced briefly from the cyber warfare networks to add his insight. The Zaxians see chaos as a flaw to be corrected. They don't understand that it's the source of our strength, our creativity, our ability to innovate. Dr. Patel nodded, manipulating the holographic display to show a new set of schematics, "which is why we're going to use their own weapon against them. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Project Butterfly. The display transformed, showing a network of quantum devices unlike anything ever created. They weren't the rigid, crystalline structures of Zaxian technology, nor were they conventional human machines. They were something entirely new, a fusion of organic and quantum computing that embraced chaos rather than trying to control it. Each device acts as a quantum butterfly, Maya explained, creating tiny disturbances that amplify through reality itself. The Zaxians want to impose order. We'll show them what controlled chaos can do. Around Earth, hidden factories that had been preparing for decades began their final production phase. The Prometheus fleet moved into position, each ship carrying components of Project Butterfly. In lunar bases and orbital stations, thousands of quantum engineers made final adjustments to their systems. The Zaxians are beginning their approach, Captain Chen reported. Energy readings are off the scale. They're committing everything to this attack. The alien fleet moved with perfect precision, their ships arranging themselves in complex geometric patterns. Energy began to flow between them, creating a lattice of pure order that began to spread through space itself. Reality seemed to crystallize wherever their influence touched. But humanity was ready. At Dr. Patel's signal, Project Butterfly activated. Quantum disturbances rippled out from Earth's defenders, meeting the wave of Zaxian order. Where the two forces met, reality itself seemed to dance. It's working, Kai reported through the neural network. Their systems can't adapt to the controlled chaos. They've never seen anything like this. The Zaxian fleet's perfect formations began to waver. Their attempts to impose order on space itself were being met with carefully calculated disorder. Each human quantum butterfly effect, precisely tuned to disrupt their harmonics without causing catastrophic collapse. We're not just fighting their technology, Maya explained to the assembled leaders. We're showing them a completely different way of existing. Their entire civilization is built on the belief that order must triumph over chaos. We're proving that the two can dance together. In space, the battle took on an almost artistic quality. The crystalline perfection of Zaxian ships contrasted with the fluid, organic movements of human vessels. Energy patterns twisted and transformed, creating displays that defied conventional physics. Their flagship is attempting to compensate, Captain Chen reported. They're trying to adapt their harmony protocol to account for our chaos factors. Let them try, Maya responded with confidence. The more they attempt to impose order, the more our quantum butterflies will turn that energy back on them. They're fighting against the fundamental nature of reality itself. The Zaxian fleet's pristine formations began to fragment as Project Butterfly's effects cascaded through their systems. Ships designed for perfect order found themselves unable to cope with controlled chaos. The aliens' rigid tactical algorithms failed in the face of human unpredictability. Something's happening, Kai suddenly announced, his consciousness deep in the alien networks. Their command structure, it's experiencing some kind of cascade effect. The chaos isn't just affecting their ships, it's changing how their organic computers think. Dr. Patel leaned forward, studying the data streams. They're evolving, she realized. The interaction between their order and our chaos is creating new patterns of thought in their systems. This isn't just a battle anymore, it's becoming a transformation. As humanity watched, the Zaxian fleet's actions became increasingly erratic. Some ships maintained their rigid formations, while others began moving in patterns that seemed almost human in their creativity. The aliens' perfect hierarchy was dissolving in the face of something they had never expected, the possibility that chaos and order could coexist. They're sending a transmission, Captain Chen announced. Text only, broadcasted on all frequencies. The message appeared on screens throughout Earth's defense network. We understand now what you are, what we could become. Request. Dialogue. The assembled leaders looked to each other in surprise. This was more than a victory. It was the beginning of something entirely new. Humanity hadn't just defended itself. They had shown the Zaxians a new way of existing, a harmony of chaos and order that neither species had imagined possible. The final gambit. The observation deck of the International Space Station had been converted into an impromptu conference room. Representatives of both species sat facing each other across a table fashioned from metamaterials that shifted and flowed, representing the merger of human chaos and Zaxian order. High Commander Vexthor, once so certain of Zaxian superiority, now regarded Dr. Maya Patel and Captain Chen with something approaching wonder. His crystalline form seemed less rigid than before, subtle ripples of chaos playing across its surface. "Your Project Butterfly," he began, his translator converting complex harmonics into human speech. "It did more than defeat us. It showed us a truth we had denied for millennia." Maya nodded, her quantum neural interface allowing her to perceive the subtle changes in Zaxian biology. Their exposure to controlled chaos had fundamentally altered them, creating new patterns of thought that would have been impossible in their rigid hierarchy. "Order and chaos are not enemies," she replied. "They're partners in a dance that creates reality itself. Your civilization mastered order. Ours learned to embrace chaos. Together, we could achieve things neither of us could imagine alone." In the space around them, the combined fleets of both species held position. The crystalline perfection of Zaxian ships now displayed subtle, organic variations, while human vessels had incorporated elements of alien geometric precision. It was a visual representation of the transformation both species were undergoing. Kai Tanaka's consciousness surfaced in the neural network, his voice reaching both human and Zaxian participants. "Their network architecture is already evolving. The rigid hierarchies are dissolving, replaced by something new, something that combines their processing power with our creativity." High Commander Vexthor's multiple eyes shifted in patterns that indicated deep thought. For 10,000 years, the Zaxian Dominion sought to impose perfect order on the galaxy. We saw it as our divine mission. But you showed us that perfection without chaos is stagnation. Captain Chen leaned forward, her expression serious. "And chaos without order is destruction. Neither extreme serves life. The question is, what do we do with this understanding?" The answer came from an unexpected source. The quantum computers of both species, linked through Project Butterfly's network, had been processing this question. Their combined consciousness manifested as a holographic display above the table, a double helix of order and chaos, spinning and evolving. "We propose a new path," the merged intelligence announced, its voice a harmony of human and Zaxian tones. "Not conquest, not isolation, but cooperation. The galaxy is full of species trapped in extremes of order or chaos. Together, we could show them another way." Dr. Patel studied the projection, her mind racing with possibilities. A partnership between our species, not just in technology, but in philosophy, teaching others what we've learned about the balance between chaos and order. High Commander Vexthor's crystalline form resonated with agreement. The Dominion's resources, combined with human innovation. We could transform the galaxy, not through conquest, but through understanding. The implications were staggering. Humanity had not only defended itself, but had initiated a transformation that would ripple throughout known space. The Zaxians' vast network of conquered worlds could become a network of partners, each contributing their unique perspective to a new galactic civilization. "There will be resistance," Captain Chen cautioned. "Change never comes easily, especially to ancient empires." "Let them resist," Vexthor replied, displaying a very un-Zaxian acceptance of uncertainty. "We will show them what we've learned, one world at a time if necessary. The truth of balance cannot be denied once it's understood." As if to emphasize his point, the space around them shimmered with quantum possibilities. Project Butterfly's effects had spread throughout the solar system, creating a new kind of order, one that embraced chaos as an essential component of reality. Maya stood, addressing both the physical and virtual attendees of this historic meeting. "Then let this be the beginning. Not of a human victory or a Zaxian defeat, but of something entirely new. A civilization that understands the true nature of existence, the eternal dance between order and chaos. The quantum networks hummed with agreement, human and Zaxian consciousness merging and separating in endless patterns. In orbit, ships of both species began coordinating their movements in ways that would have been impossible days ago, creating formations that were both precisely calculated and beautifully unpredictable. And in the vast depths of space, the first ripples of change were already spreading. The galaxy was about to learn that the most powerful force in existence wasn't order or chaos, but the wisdom to embrace both. Humanity had not just survived their greatest challenge, they had transformed it into an opportunity for universal growth. The stars themselves seemed to twinkle with new possibility, as if the very fabric of reality was celebrating the birth of something unprecedented. The war was over, but the real adventure was just beginning.